Hello, my name is Bob McCauley and I'm author of The Miraculous Properties of Ionized Water, the definitive guide to the world's healthiest substance. And that is a pretty tall claim, but we're going to discuss on this DVD why that claim is true and how we're going to prove it. So stay tuned, and this is going to be one of the most informational 30 minutes you're ever going to see in your life. Okay, let's talk for a minute about water and its importance to human health. We really can't be truly healthy if we're not properly hydrated. Every cell in the body, every organ depends on water heavily to function to its capacity. All our metabolic processes depend on water. The blood's mostly water, the liver's 90% water. The human body overall is over 70% water. So obviously, we established right there, water needs to be consumed at all hours of the day, throughout the day, except around mealtime, a half an hour before, during, and a half an hour afterwards. When we drink water with a meal, or right after a meal especially, we're kind of washing out the entire digestive process, and we're not allowing the friendly bacteria, the enzymes, to get at the food and do their work. So stay away from water around mealtime. Other than that, water should rule your day. A short history of ionized water. Where did this stuff come from originally, and how did it arrive in the United States? Well, it started back in Russia, maybe around the turn of the 20th century, around the 1900s. There was some indications, there were some studies done on ionized water then. There was some done again in the 40s, and then once again in the Chernobylsko project. That was in the late 1960s. And this is when it really got going. The Japanese got a hold of it. A Japanese doctor began to make one for the house, and that was in the 1980s. By the 1990s, and then here we are in the 21st century, they have arrived at long last here in the United States, and now we too can have access to the world's healthiest substance. There are many debunkers of ionized water. Well, I shouldn't say there are many, there are a few out there. They just make a lot of noise and they plant doubt in people's minds, and they kind of make us wonder, wow, is this too good to be true? And my experience has been, I've never found one of these debunkers who know really anything about ionized water, and the main thing is they've never tried it. They can look on the paper and say ionization can't really happen, you can't raise the pH of the water, you can't change the ORP, and even if you do, that doesn't mean anything. And frankly, they don't know what they're talking about. So they're out there, be aware of them, but ignore them. Because I've been drinking water, ionized water now for 10 years. I've been drinking water, a big water drinker my entire life, but the last 10 years drinking ionized water has just given me incredible changes in my life. Ignore the debunkers. They don't know what they're talking about. Listen to what I have to say here. Read my book. Look at the studies that are in the back of the book, and you're going to see that ionized water is indeed the healthiest substance you can possibly put into your body. All right, now, next. How is ionized water created? It's very simple. It's high school electrolysis, if you will. You're running the water over a positive and negative electrode, an anode and a cathode. And when you do that, you create positive negative ions, hydroxyl ions that we consume, and hydrogen ions that we use on the outside of the body. So you're always producing two different waters at the same time. One of them's alkaline, one of them is acid. We consume the alkaline one, and then we use the acid one on the body. But as the water goes over these electrodes, an anode and a cathode, positively and negatively charged, there's a membrane between the two that separates them, and that's really the magic of a water ionizer. And it happens instantly. You turn on your water ionizer, and it just starts producing instantly after the water's gone through a filter. Starts producing ionized water instantly, and the pH level and the intensity, the strength of the ionized water is fully adjustable. And it's really, well, it's the first miraculous thing that happens with a water ionizer. The acid ionized water we always use on the outside of the body. We'll get that in a minute, but the negatively charged antioxidant water that's full of hydroxyl ions and full of electrons, this is the stuff that we consume. It has, well, three main qualities to it. Number one is a very strong antioxidant. Number two, it is very, very alkalizing. The pH is raised up anywhere from 9 to 10. It's adjustable. And it's also very, very hydrating and very detoxifying. So those are the main qualities of ionized water, and we're going to get into each one of them in detail. Powerful antioxidant. This is the most incredible thing about ionized water. The fact that you're creating this very, very strong antioxidant instantly with just normal tap water. I mean, it really is one of the most incredible things I've ever seen in my life, and why I've become the biggest promoter of ionized water that there is in North America, and definitely one of the biggest promoters of ionized water in the entire world. Ionized water is just the most incredible thing you can possibly put into your body, and, well, what more can I say? Antioxidant. How does ionized water provide the body with an antioxidant? Well, it has two antioxidant qualities. Number one, it has a negative charge, or ORP, oxidation reduction potential. Now, I can't stress that term enough. You really need to learn that. It's the most important term you'll ever learn when it comes to health, and yet I hardly hear anybody ever talk about it. Oxidation reduction potential. Let's put it to you this way. Every time you consume something, it has either a positive charge or a negative charge. And when we cook something, it ends up with a positive charge. For instance,